the channel. So in today's video, we're taking a look at Photolab 9 from DXO, and I'm going to be showing you how I've created this image for my Instagram grid. Now, very straightforward. I have been introduced to Photolab, DXO Photolab 9, and I've had it plugged into my workflow for probably about a couple of months. And I thought we'd jump in today. Instead of me doing a basics tutorial, I thought we'd edit this image together. So this is how the image started, and I edited it to look like this. I think it looks really nice, right? This was on our trip to Lago di Garda in Italy in the summer. Now, right, you need to get some images inside Photolab to begin. So the way you do this is, I have some example images, as you can see to the side here, on my desktop. And what I want to do is get them into the folders tree here, or you just locate it in the folders tree rather. So if you go to devices, go to your computer, and then unpack your folder tree, find your desktop, as I have. So there's my DXO image examples, and that's the folder there that I've got these XT5, Fuji XT5 images in. So what you can do is, when you found the folder with your images in, you can favorite that. And I've already got it favorited at the top up here. You select your subfolder that's got the images in you want to work with. Let's just full screen this so we can see exactly what we're doing here. I absolutely love Photolab, and it's just so easy and intuitive to use. Right, so let's go into Customise. Now we have our folder selected. So this is the image before, this is the image after. Now, if we go down to the bottom here, we can go to our, well, this is how I've starred, how I've selected the images. So if we go to all images here, as you can see, these are all the images that I have shortlisted for this tutorial. And what I've done is I've used the star rating. So I've actually used the number 2 key to mark these images. You can also use these pick buttons. So you've got a green for pick, you've got a red for reject, and I prefer to use, let's just deselect that, I prefer to use the star ratings. It's much easier for me to edit down. So then you go back to here, and it's really easy to then go in and just deselect that. I've got all my 2 stars selected on the screen now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I've edited this. So let's go back to the original. What I'm going to do is right click on this original, and I'm going to create a virtual copy. So I've got the original then to go back to if I want to start all over again. And the first thing I want to do is obviously want to crop this image down, because I don't want these ladies in the shot, and I want my missus center focused, and then we can start working on the shot. So we're going to crop this to begin with. So up here in this toolbar at top, we have the little crop selection tool. And then if we move down to here, we can then select our crop, our aspect ratio. Now we're editing for Instagram, so it's 4:3 for the grid. So let's just size it how we'd like it. And I want something around about, let's just crop these ladies out. Let's bring it back down to about here. That looks good. And hit enter. So there we have our crop. And what do we need to do now? I would like to retouch out these ducks and this one that's decided to just disappear off frame. It would have been perfect if it was over here, but I'd rather just remove it. So I'm going to frame to zoom a little bit. And then, the first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to denoise this image. So we come up to this box up the top here. So we have palettes, and your palettes are actioned through the palettes menu at the top here. So I currently have all of them selected. There is one here that won't be on the standard Photolab, as this is the DXO FilmPack, and that has an extra, but I'll be going over that a little bit later in this tutorial, because that's how we're going to create our white border frame. So we can denoise this to make it much cleaner, and we have a denoising up here in this palette, in this tab. And because I've shot on a Fuji XT5, we have a specific denoising for X-Trans sensors. So that will go in and that will clean up all that noise as it has done, and it's done an amazing job. So there we go, before, after. I think that's quite incredible, the amount of noise that's actually cleaned up. And let's just have a look at something else so we can then see an example of the noise again. Obviously you're going to see more noise in the darker areas. Let's go to here. Let's click on compare. Look at that. I think that is super impressive. Let's zoom back in so we can do a little bit of retouching and get rid of these ducks. Right, we're going to do that by going to this tab up the top here. We click on this little tool. This brings up this menu down the bottom here. And what we want to do is we want to size our brush via this, and then just quickly and roughly go over what we want to remove. Now, as you can see, that's got quite a hard edge, so that isn't working. So I'm going to undo. I'm going to go Command Z to undo. So what I'd like to do is just feather the edge of that brush a little bit, because that will just make it much easier and much softer on that retouch. So you might need to just finesse it a little bit. But bearing in mind, we are just doing a very quick cleanup for social media, and I think that's acceptable. Because when you zoom out, let's go back up to the hand tool. Zoom out. You can't see that. You're not going to be able to see it on a social media grid. Zooming back in, let's just go ahead and remove all the other ones very quickly. Zooming back out. Ducks have gone. Next thing we want to do is straighten the horizon. So we're going to do that up here with the leveling tool. We're going to grab these handles and just place those on that line. Click apply. Didn't need to do too much. And then I want to just try and correct these uprights a little bit. Because I'm using a 10 to 24 mil, it is super wide, and obviously it's going to distort these uprights. So let's see if we can just correct these a little bit. Apply. Okay, it's pretty good. We're going to want to move our crop in a little bit, so close that. Let's go back to our crop tool, and that looks good to me right there. Hit enter. Okay, image looking really nice. And the next thing we want to do is, I think I want to select the sky and I want to darken that a little bit. So we're going to do that by using some AI masking, and that you'll find in here. So click on this brush up the top here, and then click on this little icon here. And what we want to do is come down to this selection box here and select sky. It's going to automatically detect the sky, as you can see, and then we can bring our exposure down, not too much, like so. That looks pretty good. Okay, so that's the sky reduced in brightness. I think everything else is looking really good. Now I want to do a quick color grade on this, and we have some presets already built into Photolab, so we can go through and have a little look at what they have in here. And we have like a natural one, like so, or we can scroll down and use something like this portrait standard. I think that looks quite nice. Right, so let's close that. Right, next thing I want to do is put on this white border. Now, we're going to do the white border via the FX tab over here. Now, this is a additional plugin called FilmPack, and I'll list all this below in the description. Now, I also have a 15% discount for any DXO products. You can go ahead and test out any of these DXO pieces of software for free, so you can just check it out, see if it works for your workflow. and then you can decide whether it's going to fit into your workflow or not. So to use the DXO FilmPack, which will give us this white border frame, so if we click on here, and then it gives us that really nice white border that a lot of people like on their social media profiles. We can also change the gauge of that frame, or we can go into lots of other frame options that they have, but we're just going to stick with the white for this one. And if you wanted to put a little bit of texture on there, there's texture. It's got various paper textures, etc., which again could be your thing. Not going to put texture on this one. And then you've got light leaks. This is something I like to use, but just a little bit. So we can go in and use something like that, white leak 17. And that, to me, looks like a good final polished image. I've been making lots more DXO Photolab tutorials. I thought I'd just jump into this today to show you how we can produce an image for Instagram super easily. And the best thing also is, if you're happy with the results, what you can do is right click on the picture, you can go copy correction settings. What it will do, it will take everything from that image that you worked on and put it straight into this picture. I think that looks really nice. So that is it for today's tutorial. Finally, we got there. See you in the next one. Bye for now.